Thomas Paine, Sam Adams, Benjamin Franklin. These men spoke up for what they thought was right. From their courage came such documents as the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution of the United States. From their willingness to speak what was sometimes unpopular but right, we enjoy such liberties as freedom of speech, the right to keep and bear arms, and freedom of religion. There are those who still wish to oppress our freedoms, and there are still patriots willing to stand up and defend life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Men like Zeb Bell, who honor our founding fathers and what they stood for. It's now time for Zeb at the ranch, speaking up and defending your freedoms. Brought to you by Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers and all of the other great advertisers on the program. And now, Zeb Bell.
I would really appreciate it if you'd listen very closely to these words. In the summer of 1787, the Constitutional Convention met at Independence Hall in Philadelphia to decide how to set up a new government. At times, the arguments grew bitter, and tempers flared in the summer heat. Some delegates verged on quitting when they reached an impasse over whether representation was to be based on the population of each state or if each state should be given just one vote. On June 28, 1787, 81-year-old Benjamin Franklin, the oldest delegate, rose from his seat and made a simple but profound suggestion. They should pray for guidance. He reminded the others that the Continental Congress had asked for divine aid at the start of the Revolutionary War. He said, "Our prayers, sir, were heard, and they were graciously answered. And have we now forgotten that powerful friend? Or do we imagine that we no longer need his assistance? I have lived, sir, a long time, and the longer I live, the more convincing proofs I see of this truth, that God governs in the affairs of men, and if a sparrow cannot fall to the ground without his notice, it is probable that an empire can rise without his aid." The same can be said today. Good morning, everybody. Here comes Kate Smith, and God bless America, followed by a patriot. Come on, call in with our Pledge of Allegiance. Good morning. Oh, there she is, the lovely Kate Smith. God bless America. And welcome to Zeb at the Ranch. I'm Zeb Bell with our major sponsor, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. All 7 locations serving you with the best of tires. Stop in and see them today. Along with some of our great advertisers like Western Way Services, always at your disposal. Call, get on the route service 734-6969. Right now, let's have a patriot do our Pledge of Allegiance. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Well, Peachy, go ahead and give us our pledge, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Lorna, thank you. God bless you, and have a wonderful weekend, okay?
Thank you, and you do the same.
Thank you much. Lovely lady right there. Appreciate her. Hey, it's time for the weather, and the weather brought to you by Cheney Flooring and Home Design, 1228 Oakley Avenue in Burley. Look for the blue door for all your carpet and flooring, kitchen construction, home decor items, whatever you need to make your house a home. And they have got all kinds of tile and flooring and carpet. Oh, my goodness. Get in there today. Cheney Flooring and Home Design. Right now, here's Gina with the weather.
We are getting one more day closer to the weekend. We still have Friday left to go, but first we got to get through today. Looks like cloudy skies. It is going to be on the windy side, out of the southeast, right around 18 miles an hour. Warming up to about 66 for today. Tonight you can expect a low of 40. Those clouds are going to be sticking around for tomorrow as well. Winds dying down. That's going to be nice. High of 66 for Friday. Overnight low of 41. Partly cloudy and 60 for Saturday. And for Sunday and Monday, we are expecting rain showers. Plus, the wind's going to be picking up as well. Highs are going to be in the upper 40s to low 50s. Yesterday's high was 51. The overnight low was 34. That is your weather for Zeb at the Range.
Gina, thank you. Great job. Brought to everybody by Cheney Flooring and Home Design. 1228 Oakley Avenue in Burley. Look for the blue door. You know what? Today's sale day. Merv, come on in here and sell some steers, would you?
All right, he gets the steer calves there here to get $31, $31.
That's the chant of the world's best auctioneer, I think, Merv May, at Burley Livestock Sale Yard, 1100 Occidental Avenue in Burley, along with Cade Rogge and Lance Udy. They all work for you. The sale that works for you. And sale time this morning is 10:30 at the Burley Livestock Sale Yard. Let's take a look at the partial run that's going to be going through today. Rule Marker's going to be bringing down about 65 head of 650 to 750 pounders from Elba. Hello, how you doing up there? Spencer Land and Livestock up at Yost, 60 head of 700 pounders. Del Kunzler at Park Valley bringing in 40 head of 400 to 500 pounders. Rob Cottle over to Malta. Hello, Rob, how are you? 22 head of light calves. And Ernesto Madrigal of Paul bringing in 25 head of yearlings. And like I said, along with the trailer line run, lots of good cattle going through the ring today at the Burley Livestock Sale Yard, 1100 Occidental Avenue in Burley. Number to call for sale information, 678-9411. It's the sale that works for you. Merv, sell those steers, would you?
All right, he gets the steer calves there here to get $31, $31, 32, 2.5, 3.5, 134, 4.5, 5.5, 135, 50, 135, selling $35. Zeb Mail gets bottom.
Yeah, but I'll tell you, I'll take that price any day. Thank you very much. Hey, we've got a couple of public service announcements. I've got to get in here real quick. The first one is going to be about tomorrow night at the Paul United Methodist Annual Church Chicken Noodle Dinner. Okay? And, chicken noodle dinner. That sounds so good. Paul United Methodist Church, 127 West Clark Street in Paul. And it's going to be from 5 to 7 p.m. tomorrow night, Friday night. Okay? And then also on, Saturday, there's going to be a benefit for Brandy, I hope I say this name right, Zaragoza. And she's been fighting AML leukemia for 3 years. And they're going to be throwing a party for her at the Elks and Rupert on Saturday night, March 12th at 7 p.m. And the dinner will be catered for $8 a plate. And all the proceeds along the auction proceeds, going to help her medical costs. So everybody try to be there at the Rupert Elks on Saturday night. There you go. A couple of PSAs, public service announcements for this morning. Want to remind you, too, about our friends at Ramsey Heating and Electric. 2600 Overland Avenue in Burley, and the number to call, 678-0459. And whatever you're needing, they can have ready for you waiting on the counter. You can zip in, zip out, you're gone. And they've got all your heating and electrical needs at Ramsey Heating and Electric. They open at 7:30 in the morning till 5, Monday through Friday. And it's true, they can provide warm winters and cool summers. Very, very nice people at Ramsey Heating and Electric. You stop in and see them today. Once again, I want to stress that next Thursday is St. Patrick's Day on the 17th. We are going to have our lunch bunch at Denny's Restaurant next Thursday, the 17th. And the person that looks the most like a green little leprechaun will get a free lunch. And it's Dress Green Day next Thursday for St. Patrick's Day at Denny's Restaurant. I know the waitresses are all going to be dressed in green. Deanne's going to be dressed in green. I'm still trying to find green. Anyway, it's going to be at 611 Overland in Burley. America's Diner. Denny's Restaurant. Breakfast, lunch, dinner. Great menu. Fantastic food. Super service at Denny's Restaurant. 611 Overland in Burley. All right, calls are welcome. 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. I got to tell you, yesterday in the first hour, yours truly was sweating bullets. I thought maybe somebody had pulled the plug on the program. We didn't have hardly any calls until about 8:35, and then they came rolling in. I got to tell you a story that people can be, at times, very stupid. Did you hear about a mother? And I put that word mother into a question mark. A mother that stuffed her baby into a carry-on luggage bag and walked onto an Air France flight. And then she pushed it under the seat in front of her. Well, some people noticed that the bag was moving. And the stewardess came by and checked the bag and found her baby in there. And she did it so she didn't have to pay for the child's seat. I mean, come on. Stuffing a baby into a carry-on luggage bag and then stuffing it under a seat? Maybe you don't think that's too bad a deal, but man, that's not a mother. There's other words I could use. Calls are welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. A very, very emotional farewell to a wonderful, wonderful, fine lady, Nancy Reagan. Thousands went through the rotunda in the Simi Valley location to pay their respects to Nancy Reagan, and now she is resting at peace. And one of the really, truly classy, very classy ladies that was a first lady to President Ronald Reagan. All right, calls are welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Let's not forget Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation. I know what you're thinking. Well, Zeb, did you go over and start your exercises? I am. Today. Yes, I am scheduled to go in there at 1:30. I will be there at Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation, 1263 Bennett Avenue, Suite 2 in Burley. Yep. Helping you and me get back to being ourselves. Yes, sir, buddy. They know all the exercises, all the sports medicine. They've got the hydrotherapy pool with a treadmill in the bottom. Oh, and all the physical therapists, all of them really know their stuff. Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation, 678-1191. You give them a call today. And speaking of giving calls, how about me? 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. So last night, Hillary walked up on the stage, another Democratic debate, and I got to tell you, this woman amazes me. She absolutely amazes me that she has one of the worst wardrobes anybody could ever have, male or female. That pantsuit last night, on a 1 to 10 scale for being ugly and homely, was about a 32. And she got a little bit testy last night. Oh, yes. The smoke and fire in her eyes and the tone of her voice, and by a source that I didn't expect a question like what came out of his mouth. Univision's Jorge Ramos asked her, and I'm paraphrasing, I'm not going to give the exact verbiage that he used. He asked her, if she's indicted, will she drop out of the presidential race? Why, you could have lit a campfire with a look in her eyes. She got really teed off and said she would not answer that question. And Ramos tried for a follow-up too, and she just basically wouldn't answer it. And so for a guy that has been known as a pretty down-the-middle-of-the-road liberal and representing Mexico's Univision network, I got to hand it to Jorge Ramos. I really do, and give credit where credit is due, that he asked a direct question by Hillary that many others, most others, have not had the nerve or, quite frankly, the guts to ask, and I salute him for that. Oh, and also, this is very, very important. Hillary, once again, proved that she is a liar. And I did a little research, thanks to my lovely bride this morning, with the Daily Caller back in Washington, D.C. Do you remember right after Benghazi, right after the murders of 4 of our Americans at Benghazi, that the general conversation of the Obama administration was that it was caused by a video? Oh, an anti-Muslim video made these people go completely wacko, and that's why all this happened. Well, Hillary had told the parents of the Benghazi families that they, the ones that were killed in Benghazi, were killed by people that were just, they were all upset about that video. She had told the mother of Mr. Smith. And here's what the mother said in response to Hillary saying it was a video. And then denying it later. That's the point I'm trying to make, is that Hillary denied it later, and she said that the mother was wrong. She's absolutely wrong. And she told debate moderator Jorge Ramos that last night to comments about Patricia Smith, the mother of State Department Information Officer Sean Smith. She said, well, the mother's wrong. She's wrong. She's absolutely wrong. I never said that. Well, Mrs. Smith said that during the memorial service for her son and the other Benghazi victims held on September 14th, 2012, Clinton said that the short YouTube movie Innocence of Muslims was the catalyst for the attack. And Mrs. Smith is very vocal. I respect her. She came right out and she said, quote, she's lying. She's absolutely lying. She, meaning Hillary, told me something entirely different at the casket ceremony. She, meaning Hillary, said it was because of the video that she would get back to me and tell me what happened with my son. And she never did. And then Hillary had a sick comment that, oh, well, this was the fog of war. This was complicated, said Hillary yesterday. And Hillary also maintained that she does believe that the terrorists who carried out the attack were partially motivated by the video. You know something? How in the world could any Democrat here or anywhere else across the United States be gullible enough, or quite frankly stupid enough, to want to vote for Hillary Clinton? I just despise that woman. And I evidently am in the fold of increasing numbers that absolutely despise that woman. And certainly to the point where she should never, ever, ever be considered presidential material. Calls are welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Give me a call, please. I'd love to hear from you. Oh, I mean that, too. You waited yesterday too long, and you're waiting again today. Now let your fingers do the walking on the dial. Berry Equipment and Rental. Oh, they've got 3 wonderful locations to serve you. Addison Avenue West in Twin Falls, South Lincoln and Jerome, and 159 West Highway 30 in Burley. They always have the equipment to get the job done right. And they've got all the Coyote tractors. Great selection at all 3 locations. And they've got them from 25 horsepower and up with great warranties, super financing available. You'd better stop in and check it out today, those Coyote tractors at Berry Equipment and Rental. Like I said, Addison Avenue West in Twin Falls, South Lincoln and Jerome, and 159 West Highway 30 in Burley. Yep, they've got all the equipment at Berry Equipment and Rental. You stop in and see those good folks today. I really am wondering, I put my deodorant on this morning, I washed my face, I shaved, and I'm still not getting any calls. Come on now, give me a jingle on the landline, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. By the way, too, don't forget Minnecasia Sales and Zach and the crew. They sponsor Dr. History on Tuesdays. Now it's heard in over 112 countries. I'm impressed. And they can help you, of course, with all the remodeling of your house. They got all your lumber packages. They've got the best of the upgrades of the windows, the Western windows, and lots and lots and lots of good quality carpet for the increased value of your home. You be sure and stop in and see them today or give them a call. Minnecasia Sales, 1321 East Main Street in Burley, right across from the airport, 878-2091. Whether you like it or not, I was really offended last night with a question that was given to Bernie Sanders and Hillary Clinton, of which I think it was, whether you like Trump or not, this question was totally unfair. Totally unfair, I think. I want your response on this. But they were asked if they thought that Donald Trump was a racist. It is so easy in our society today to hang and pin a label on somebody that maybe you don't like and you want to denigrate. And this has happened to me 8 years ago. I'm not ashamed to bring the story back up. The dim Democrats tried to pin the racist tag on me because I was against Barack Obama. You remember, for those that have listened to this program for a long time, they did all they could to denigrate me with every single news source in the state and out of state. They are a very low-class group of people. And they tried to hang the racist tag on me, but at the same time, these dim bulbs that were the head of the Democratic Party for the state of Idaho failed to mention that they heard me many, many times say that I was a huge supporter of, at that time, Condoleezza Rice, that was considering throwing her hat in the ring to become president. Let me see. I think that Condoleezza Rice is black. Oh, yeah. And Barack Obama, half black. But yet I was a racist because I was against Obama. And it went on until I finally stood up and said, enough, and started attacking these low personality people that were after me. But really, at a debate, and the opposition is going to do all they can to denigrate the other opposition. But is it really at all classful to ask somebody if they think so-and-so is a racist? I mean, that's as low as it gets, in my opinion. What are your thoughts? What are your thoughts about that question that was asked? I'd like to hear from you. 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. While I'm waiting for your call that I just absolutely know is coming in, I'll remind you about Mount Harrison Audiology and Hearing Aids. What a wonderful lady, Dr. Christine Pickup. And they're located right across from the Minidoka Hospital emergency room, and the number to call for an appointment to have a hearing screening. I'm telling you, you really need to do this. 312-0957. Hearing is maybe a problem with your heart or your kidney health or diabetes or your medicine or high blood pressure. You better find out what's causing it. And please take my advice and call today. 312-0957. Mount Harrison Audiology and Hearing Aids, serving you. And she's going to be on the air with us at about 10:23 this morning. So be listening for that. All right. And, you ask and thou shalt receive. But so far I haven't heard a call. So come on, give me a jingle. 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Ho, 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 ho. Bless you, my child. Good morning. You're on the air.
Okay, I'm having a brain fade moment. What nationality, color was the guy that you had doing the weather?
Well, I was talking in 2007, I was highly critical of Barack Obama, and he is not 100% black. As a matter of fact, he comes from mixed parentage, one white, one black, so basically, in respectful terminology, he could be known more as a mulatto than a black, and I was advocating at that same time that I was hoping Condoleezza Rice would throw her hat in the ring, and she is from black parentage. So why was I called a racist? Because I was against Barack Obama.
Yeah, but what was you? I can't think of the name that you had doing your weather for you.
Oh, Michael Rogers, yeah.
Wasn't he black?
Yes, ma'am, and people fail to realize that I have had many people of different races working for me, and yet I get called a racist.
Yeah, well, and I remember when you would say, "Oh no," and literally, I'm having my mind is not coming up with his name. A dear friend, a dear friend, a dear friend. I don't know how many times I heard you say that. Excuse me, how can you be racist if he's your dear friend?
Yeah, and I want to say something else here.
You are not racist.
I appreciate that, but, I want to say something else. I don't ever judge people on their color or their race. I judge people on how they treat me and my wife and other people. I couldn't care less if somebody is purple polka dots, as long as they're a decent person.
There's black trash, and there's green trash, and there's blue trash.
Amen.
You're trashy, and if you're a nice, decent person, you're a nice, decent person, and it doesn't matter what color you are or where you came from or how you was raised, because I know kids who have turned out wonderful who had the most horrific parents. So your upbringing isn't necessarily,
I agree. But why is it, though? Let me ask you this quick question. Why is it, and it happened to me 8.5 years ago, why is it that the liberal left, the Democrats, and the Democratic Party here in the state of Idaho is the one that caused the problem? Why is it that the minute you're against someone like Barack Obama, and it's still true today, you play the race card?
Because they have nothing else, because they don't want to admit the fact that he is a lousy president. I was voting for Condoleezza. If Condi had ran, I'd have voted for her in a heartbeat. I wish Ben Carson had stayed in. And you notice that the liberal blacks are like, oh, what an Uncle Tom.
Yeah.
So they're racist against their own race there.
And bringing up Ben Carson, I want to say this. I really felt bad that he dropped out of the race. I really feel bad that he probably will go into obscurity, and I really hope and pray that whoever the president is, hopefully on the Republican side, they will appoint him to a very prestigious office, because he has the brain power and he has the personality to be very successful for us.
Wouldn't he make a great Surgeon General?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, my gosh, because guess what? He's a surgeon.
Absolutely. Thank you once again for your call. God bless you. Amen to that. You have a wonderful weekend. Thank you so much.
You too. God bless.
All right, thank you. Nice lady right there. Yeah, there is a lot of talent out there. And don't define people by colors, please. Good heavens. Some of the greatest baseball players, black. Some of the greatest athletes. I don't want to lump everybody into a category. My goodness. Mickey Mantle was white. Jackie Robinson was black. Who cares? They doggone sure could play the game. Calls are welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Want to tell you a little bit about my old buddy, old Doug of Doug's Alternator and Starter Repair, 635 21st Street, Alfresco Road in Heyburn. The number for old Doug to rebuild your starters, alternators, and generators, or sell you brand new, 878-4991. Doug's Alternator and Starter Repair. You'd better get on over there. Give him a call, 878-4991. All right, give us a jingle. 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. I absolutely fell out of my chair this morning when I heard this story, and this goes along with some of the absolute liberal racism that's going on in our country. Listen to this, and I'm going to try to synopsize, if you will, all of what's going on. Judicial Watch, now listen carefully to this, obtained some documents from the United States Department of the Army that date back to April of a year ago, 2015. Now, 400 soldiers in the 67th Signal Battalion at Fort Gordon, Georgia, were subjected to a, quote, white privilege briefing, including a PowerPoint presentation instructing the attendees, quote, our society attaches privilege to being white and male and heterosexual. What? Our United States Army let this go in front of our troops? The slideshow also informed the soldiers that race privilege gives whites little reason to pay a lot of attention to African Americans. It alleged that there are unspecified powerful forces everywhere, keeping different kinds of people from being valued, accepted, and appreciated. But we act as if it doesn't exist. We meaning the whites. The material described a mythical, I got to get this right here, the alleged privilege creates a yawning divide in income, wealth, and dignity. So here are the soldiers of the 67th Signal Battalion at Fort Gordon, Georgia, and they're in a meeting and they're subjected to this. If you're white, why, you're racist. If you're white, male, and heterosexual, well, you are of privilege. You think you're better than everybody else. And this is what they have to sit and listen to. The material that they watched, it described a mythical African woman who isn't aware that she's black. Wait a minute, she's not aware that she's black until she comes to America, encounters white racism, and discovers the United States is organized according to race. Ladies and gentlemen, this is really something to be concerned about, because now there is a unified, organized movement even in our military. And they can't deny this. I mean, I got the form right here in front of me that our soldiers were subjected to this, and the white soldiers sitting in the room, everybody's going, thumbs down on you if you're a white male and heterosexual. Holy cow. Now, the Judicial Watch previously obtained Defense Department equal opportunity training materials, that'll be right there, hold on, that depict conservative organizations as hate groups, and advise students to be aware that many extremists will talk of individual liberty, states' rights, and how to make the world a better place, but they are hate groups. This is insane. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Yes, good morning, Zed. Yes, this is a real concern. Barack Obama has successfully created a race war in this country, And if he should be involved in the United States and the United Nations, we're going to have a worldwide race war.
You know,
the white people.
You really bring up an interesting point there this morning, Tony, about his future on service to what he calls the world. I know from stories that have been leaked in the past and various conservative think tanks that, yes, Barack Obama is considering possibly staying right in the Washington, D.C. area, and, yes, is very interested possibly in taking over the head of the UN. And, yes, I agree with you. Wow, when you hear stories like this man, Obama, has done more, I think, to hurt race relations in this country than he's ever done to try to help things.
Well, look at Don as a great divider. He's got something new that's coming up now. Free cell phones and free internet for the poor. And this is his way of controlling the internet.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, I am outraged that people would point their fingers at you and I and say, oh, well, you're of white privilege, you're white, you're a male, and you're heterosexual, you believe in morality. Well, we're going to get you. Tony, this is sick and perverted what's going on in our country.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Pretty soon there's going to be open attacks on white people in this country.
Absolutely.
And this is
yes.
going to fall on Barack Obama.
Yes, I totally agree.
He's not doing anything to help the race situation in this country.
No, he's aiding and abetting the other side and creating more problems. You are 100% right.
Yeah.
All right, Tony, God bless you, man. Say hello to Mary.
I certainly will. Thank you.
Okay. Listen to this statement by Judicial Watch President Tom Fitton. He called this whole thing outrageous. Outrageous. That is the only word to describe this type of raw, racist indoctrination, said President Fitton of Judicial Watch. The Obama administration undermines the morale of our military with morally repugnant, equal opportunity training that makes many soldiers feel unwelcome because they are the wrong sex, race, religion, or aren't part of a politically correct group. You talk about creating dissension in the military and causing strife and causing personality problems. My goodness. I got the proof right here in my hands. And you probably, if you got out of bed this morning early, this story broke at exactly 4:17 this morning. What are your thoughts on this? Give me a call, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. This is just repugnant to me. My goodness. Don't forget Certified Pest Control. I don't care if you have mice, if you have voles, if you have weeds, whatever the pest. Get a hold of Kevin today because he can help, and he will. And right now is the time to be thinking about weed-free property for this spring and summer. And if you have problems with puncture vine, goat heads, and all those other crummy weeds, call Kevin at Certified Pest Control, 219-7576. I'll repeat the number, 219-7576. Or go to their website, avoidbugs.com, and you'll be glad that you took my advice. 219-7576, Certified Pest Control. Calls welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Give me a call. Aren't you just sick and tired of all this racism in the country and all the stupid things like if you're white and male and heterosexual, oh, you think you're better than everybody else? All they're doing is just creating a society of dissension. This just makes me want to clench my teeth and deck somebody. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Yes, going back to Hillary and lying on the tarmac at the services for the Benghazi that got people the heroes that got killed. Yeah, she was a liar, and what's amazing to me is how we act like, we've been lied to for 7 years by Mr. Obama, and it's like unless they actually lie to us directly, well, every time he speaks to the American people, he lies to us directly. But I guess as long as it doesn't affect us directly, we just act like it doesn't matter. And I just say to myself, if we had a local, I don't know. I just don't know how you get away with it. But people just don't seem to care anymore about lying.
Well, let me ask you this. If you and I right now, in our conversation, we said things like this, and I will say them. I think that Barack Obama is very repugnant. I think he is very racist-oriented. I think his ideology is one that's going to hurt America forever. Right away, they will not, they being the liberals, you know this is true, Randy, they won't hear the words that I used or the phrases, but they will come back and say, well, you don't like him because you're a racist. Isn't that the truth?
Yeah, that's always what they play, and the thing of it is, you know, as long as they get away with it, as long as nobody's stopping them, it's not going to end. He's like the bully in school. Every day he pokes you in the chest, and I don't know. I guess someday you're going to have to stop him, but see, there's not enough of us, it seems.
Well, let me ask you this. Let me ask you this quickly.
Ramsey said to me, and it was a very depressing statement coming from Rita, she says, I just don't think there's enough of us left to change this, and we're just going to slowly drift towards, you know, whatever.
I'm not going to, I can't let that happen. I'm going to do all I can.
Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, I'm going to do all I can to absolutely not that scenario, let that scenario happen. But let me ask you this quick question, and I got to get a weather forecast on here.
Yes.
Really, how low class can you be as a moderator to ask at a Democratic debate, oh, do you think that Donald Trump is racist? How in the world do you plant that seed against someone when you call somebody a racist? That's a pretty damning statement. What right do they have to listen to speculation and opinion on what they think of whether someone's a racist or not? I found that to be very low class.
Oh, I tell you what. It's a low-down, dirty thing to say, but it's nothing new. And if you were to go through and look at all of the black and his employees that Donald Trump has, and I'm sure that they must be happy. I'm sure, you know, there's always a few things here and there they could find fault with, but for the most part, you know, look at him. Look at his children. Then look at his business. I don't know. It's just BS.
But to ask that question to me is totally out of line. Thank you, Randy. God bless you, man. I appreciate it. Thank you. I mean, what if they would have said the same thing about maybe Ted Cruz, Marco Rubio, Jeb Bush, Mike Huckabee? Oh, well, you're from the South, and so you're racist, aren't you? What do you think? Is Mike Huckabee racist? You know, that kind of a question is so stupid to ask. It's a speculative opinion question of people that haven't got a clue as to what really is going on in the mind of the person. And whether you like Trump or not, that question was unfair. When he is not there, not up at the podium to respond to that. That's not fair at all. And to the dim Democrats that posed that against me 8 years ago, I have no respect for you. Time for the weather, brought to you by Gano Landscaping and Sprinkler Service. 336 South, 450 West of Paul. Number to call, 431-8733. Scott, and I'll tell you what, they are so good. They are so good that you'd better give them a call today about pruning shrubs and hedges and ornamental trees and shrubs. And don't forget, proper pruning is essential for good growth. They can do the job. They will do the job. Gano Landscaping and Sprinkler Service, 431-8733. And now here's Gina with the weather.
We are getting one more day closer to the weekend. We still have Friday left to go, but first we got to get through today. Looks like cloudy skies. It is going to be on the windy side, out of the southeast, right around 18 miles an hour. Warming up to about 66 for today. Tonight you can expect a low of 40. Those clouds are going to be sticking around for tomorrow as well. Winds dying down. That's going to be nice. High of 66 for Friday. Overnight low of 41. Partly cloudy and 60 for Saturday. And for Sunday and Monday, we are expecting rain showers. Plus, the wind's going to be picking up as well. Highs are going to be in the upper 40s to low 50s. Yesterday's high was 51. The overnight low was 34. That is your weather for Zeb the Rain.
And don't forget, brought to you by Gano Landscaping and Sprinkler Service. Scott and his crew, excellent people. Oh, and by the way, too, also they're great. I know this firsthand of installing sprinkler systems. Scott Gano Landscaping and Sprinkler Service, 431-8733. Calls are welcome and appreciated. 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. I have never, in my 68 years, ever disliked or been more displeased or have had more of a lack of respect for a president than I do Barack Hussein Obama. I cannot stand the man. I cannot stand his ideology. I cannot stand his amateur approach to things. Well, let's just lay some things out on the table. He wants to contain, the word contain, ISIS. And this is a group. This is a group of absolutely sadistic minds and killers that hate our lifestyle and want to do away with us. Well, now they have found a way to put powdered mustard gas in missile heads. Oh, goody! And aim them at their targets, and we are one of their targets. North Korea is now threatening nuclear war, and they're aiming at South Korea and also at us. Iran is testing missiles, and on those missiles they have the verbiage written, "Death to Israel." And they've totally disarranged the so-called treaty agreement that we had made with John Kerry. What a farce that was. And they're laughing at us. All is not well over in the Middle East. And what has this administration done to try to put out the fires? Nothing but thrown more gas and matches at that location. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Morning, old man.
Yeah, go easy, buddy.
Hey, did you see this morning what Britain's doing in France?
Well, in regards to what? I mean, there's a lot of stories I've got on my desk, and they both have Britain and France, but go ahead.
Yeah. Their flights to Iran.
Yeah.
Direct flight.
Yeah.
What are they thinking?
Well, Doug, I don't know if they are thinking. I mean, would you buy a ticket to go visit Tehran?
No.
You scared me there for a minute.
I got that from my mother.
You know, she put me on the spot quite a few times. I remember that.
She did, didn't she?
No, I saw that story, and I listened to it, and I just absolutely wonder what is going on in the public's mind today that you would want to jump on a public airliner, you would want to land at Tehran, you would want to say, oh, goody, let's have a wonderful vacation, and maybe you will become hostage bait at the drop of a hat. I have no idea what goes on in the minds of people that I think are absolutely, they must be brain dead to do something so stupid.
Is that or they're after the almighty dollar?
Well, I'm sure that's part of it.
But, I mean, I don't know, can't remember, it was 40-some flights a week?
Yeah, it's just amazing to me as to why one of the trouble spots of the world, whether it is Syria, whether it's Iran, whether it's any country over there, why you would want to visit at this time of strife and turmoil, where at the slightest provocation that whole area is going to go up like a tinderbox.
Yeah, and the flight's coming back. Who's to say the people that are on it aren't going to be coming on to go kaboom over at some big building?
Oh, you thought of that too when you heard the story.
I mean,
They're not going to fly over full and come back empty.
Do you think I trust the ground crews at the various airlines at Tehran airport that are reloading the baggage? I don't think so, Dougie boy.
Exactly. I seen that this morning, and I just shook my head, and I looked at my wife and said, what are they thinking?
Yeah, the whole world is nuts. But I want to ask you a quick question real fast. Did you see Hillary last night on TV?
I didn't. I didn't know they was having a debate. It was so well published.
Yeah, but, this whole thing about her condemnation of the mothers and the parents of those Benghazi gentlemen that were killed, it's just absolutely ludicrous. This woman is nothing more than a base liar. That's the word I will stick with. You can come up and class up the word liar any way you want to, but she is nothing more than a base liar.
Exactly, yeah. You can put lipstick on a pig and you still got a pig.
I have not a further comment. Thank you very, very much. See you later. Okay. Oh, let's not forget our major sponsor, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. Oh, have they got tires. Like the Open Country AT for your pickups and SUVs, or the Open Country HT all-season design, superior handling. By the way, that tire is on sale right now. And they've got a lot of great custom wheels to dress up your four-wheeled wonder. Now, you know about the brake service. Yeah, betcha, buddy. They've got professionally trained technicians, and they really know brakes. Stop in. This is really great news for all of us to have 7 locations of your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers right here in this area, because you know you're going to get the best in service and you're going to get the best of products. Absolutely. With Lane and Rupert, Dave on Blue Lakes and Twin, Mike and Buell, Mike and Jerome, the Twist family in Paul, John on Poline in Twin Falls, and Randy on Overland in Burley. The best, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. Going to take a break. We're going to let the big boys from CBS come in here and mess everything up. We'll be back in 6. God bless. Have a wonderful day. Wheels, take it away. Oh my, here we go. Hour number 2. Zeb at the Ranch on a Thursday, March the 10th. Good morning, everybody. Zeb at the Ranch brought to you by our major sponsor, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. All 7 locations serving you. And, of course, some of our great advertisers like Western Waste Services.
From the canyons of the Snake River and all across southern Idaho, we're always at your disposal. Western Waste Services, we care about our community, our resources, and this great land. Western Waste Services is lending a hand, always at your disposal. Western Waste Services.
Well, I tell you what, if you're tackling a cleanup project on your property, you need the dumpsters. Well, they've got dumpsters in various sizes to handle those projects. So give them a call today at 734-6969. Western Waste Services, locally owned and operated, always serving you. Remember, they're always at your disposal, Western Waste Services. And before we get our guest on the line, I also want to remind you about Hanson Mortuary, our dear friends with Joel and his family, the whole crew serving you and your family. Simply put, that when there's the passing of a loved one, it's just such a tumultuous time, and you don't know what to do. You don't know what has to get done. You're just very, very concerned. They can help. They will help. Hanson Mortuary, 710 6th Street in Rupert. Number to call, 436-5636. Always treating you with the highest ethical standards with unquestioned integrity. Joel Heward and Hanson Mortuary, 436-5636. Let's go to the phone line right now and talk to a dear friend of ours from the Mini-Cassia Chamber of Commerce, the director, Kay Cameron. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you today?
I'm good. This spring weather, it just makes me happy.
You've only got about 80-some-odd days before the kitties are going to be underneath your feet for 3 months.
That's okay. That's always welcome.
Okay.
The summer is always a fabulous time of year, so I'm fine with that. But I love spring, just the new stuff that starts to grow, all the baby animals. Spring is just a great time of year.
I agree. What's going on at the chamber? How did your banquet go the other night?
Oh, that's been a while ago, but it was great.
Oh, okay. I never did hear. Okay.
Yeah, we had a great turnout. It was a great evening, so thanks everybody for coming out and supporting the chambers.
Okay. What else is coming up?
Well, we've got lots of community things going on all year round, but out to Oakley is a play that everybody's going to want to get out and check out. It's called Something's Afoot. And we are so fortunate to have such talented people in our community that spend so much time dedicated to the arts. And we have just come off of, they just finished Into the Woods at the Burley High School, and it was a fabulous production. Something's Afoot, I hear, is great. It's going to be a lot of fun, so go check it out. And like I said, we just have extremely talented people in our community, and we're very blessed that people are willing to share their talents with us to entertain us and make us smile and laugh and just leave us with a good feeling when it's all through.
Absolutely. It's amazing, like you said a moment ago, the talent in this area, and a lot of people that sometimes are shy that get up on stage. It'll amaze you as to what they can do to sing and act and everything else.
Oh, I know. It's just incredible, the talent that we have here. So get out and support them. We have many opportunities throughout the year at our various locations. But Oakley Valley Playhouse, get up there and support them. Something's Afoot. Various times coming up throughout the next week. So you can go to our website and check it out, or go to their website, which is oakleyvalleyarts.org, and get tickets and go check it out.
Okay, I've got about a minute left. What else is going on?
Hit the Slopes. Pomerelle is still open. I know I plan to hit the Slopes this weekend. They're having a St. Patrick's Day celebration on the Slopes. It should be a lot of fun. Shamrock Hunt and some other things, so go check that out. A few other things on our calendar. Go on our website at minicasuchamber.com, click on the event calendar and check it out. There's always something going on for everybody.
Absolutely. And if they have questions, they can always get a hold of the friendly folks over at the Mini-Cassia Chamber of Commerce. And how many thousands of ways can they get a hold of you?
Give us a call at 208-679-4793. Come in and see us. We're located at 1177 7th Street in Hayburn on the beautiful Snake River. Find us online at minicasuchamber.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Okay, Kay, thank you very, very much. God bless you. We'll talk to you next Thursday. Appreciate it.
Okay, thank you.
All righty. Very, very nice lady right there. Kay Cameron with the Mini-Cassia Chamber of Commerce. Hey, by the way, don't forget Let's Ride, 270 Highway 24 between Rupert and the world. I'm going over there to pick up my bikes. I've had them serviced. You better believe it. And, of course, this is where the fun is sold. Now, you don't have any ATVs? Well, why not? Well, they've got a showroom full just for you to get over and take a look at. All the colors, all the sizes, everything, and all the accessories. This is the place, like I say, where the fun is sold. Let's Ride, 270 Highway 24 between Rupert and the world. You stop over or give them a call today at 436-4771. Right now, it is time for a relatively new segment on our program, and it's sponsored by Urgent Care of Twin Falls, along with their locations in Burley and Jerome. And we have the clinic manager for the new Urgent Care in Twin Falls with us on the phone right now, Sean Christensen. Sean, good morning. How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you doing, Zeb?
I am fantastic. Well, give us a little overview again. I don't want to be redundant, but I think it bears saying about what's going on at Urgent Care in Twin Falls there on Addison Avenue. Give us a little background as to what you offer.
Sure. We're in urgent care, and so we take care of pretty much anything that comes up. We have an x-ray machine here, so we deal with a lot of times when people think they might have broken an ankle or a wrist, or if it's a sprain. We do DOT physicals. We do workman's comp stuff. We do sports physicals, flu shots. If people have a sinus infection or bronchitis or pneumonia, any of that type of stuff we deal with.
You know, the thing about urgent care and the concept is that you don't need an appointment. You can just get right in there. And tell us about the ease of absolutely stopping in when there's a minor emergency.
Exactly, and that's the neat thing. That's the reason we opened this clinic here in Twin Falls. There's a huge need here in Twin Falls for that. Just personally, my wife and I have a lot of kids. When you try to get into your doctor's appointment, a lot of times you make your appointment and it's for a long time out. And so we're not here to compete with primary care physicians. Most of them that I've talked with are really excited that we're here. Because we offer those services. We don't do the long-term management. So if it's diabetes management or blood pressure, things like that, we absolutely want them going to their primary care physicians. We're just here in case their doctor says, we can't get you in for a week and it's just a sinus infection. Why don't you go on over to the urgent care of Twin Falls?
Now,
I also love the idea that we've got the X-ray machine here. It's so fast and so much less expensive than other options that they have. We've been really well received so far. We've had tons of positive feedback from patients and the community in this area.
Absolutely. The thing I like about this business, this absolute benefit to the community, is that they can just walk in the door. I mean, they can walk in the door and get served. That is something I think you need to really highlight.
Yep. It's a great thing because we strive to get patients in and out in 30 minutes. As much as we love our new building here, our new location, we know that when people come see us, they're not feeling well and they don't want to spend all day here. So we try to get them in and out in 30 minutes. And the neat thing about it, too, we are open Monday through Saturday from 9 in the morning until 9 o'clock at night, and then also on Sundays from 9 until 3. And so if it's anything like my kids, when I've had to have them get stitches or when they end up getting an ear infection or something, it seems like it's always Saturday night, it's Sunday morning, it's sometime where it's really inconvenient when they wake up and they're crying and they want to feel better, and it's really hard to try to wait until Monday to get them in.
Absolutely.
So we're open to serve the community in this area 9 to 9 Monday through Saturday, and then even Sundays on 9 to 3.
Absolutely. Now, Sean, tell everybody about the accepting of various insurances. How do they go about paying when they stop into an urgent care?
Sure. We're contracted. We accept all the insurances, all the Blue Crosses, the Blue Shields, the local Idaho networks, Medicare, Medicaid, all of that stuff. They come in. If they have a copay, a lot of people will have a copay for an urgent care that's a lot like their doctor's visit. So they might have like a $25 or a $35 copay that they would pay, and then we just bill the rest to their insurance. If they don't have a copay, if it's just a percentage, we will just send it to their insurance, and then whatever balance they have left, we'll send it out to them. We do some really good options for self-pay patients as well, to where it ends up being a lot less expensive. We just have them pay that, and it saves them a lot of money. And what we find is a lot of people more and more have high deductible insurance plans, and so we can bill that to their insurance, or if they just want to pay our self-pay discount, we'll just bill them that. It saves them a lot of money because they're going to have to apply it towards their deductible anyway.
Now, Sean,
So that's one of the neat advantages about being a privately owned, independently, locally owned business here. We don't have a lot of overhead that other places do, and so we can keep our charges as low as possible and help people out.
You mentioned a little while ago in the conversation about DOT physicals, sports physicals. Elaborate on that a little bit, if you would, please.
Sure. All of our providers here are certified to do DOT physicals for truck drivers. We do it as a quick visit to save them some money. So most times the visit's a $95 visit. And my favorite part about it, let's say that you get a driver in here and for whatever reason his blood pressure is a little bit high that day, or he didn't take his medicine, or he's new, he didn't know his blood pressure was high. What we will do is, we'll send him out the door, have him go follow up with his primary care doctor, and then when he comes back in 2 weeks, we don't charge him twice for that DOT physical.
Oh.
We just charge him one time, and, if they can't get on the road, we're not going to charge them twice.
I
If
see.
they've got that, if they've got some, if they had some high blood sugar, that they're dealing with a little bit of diabetes, whatever the case may be, we'll get them back to their primary doctor, let them get that taken care of, come back in again for that DOT physical, and we don't charge them.
Okay. And also, if you'd elaborate a little bit on the workers' compensation visits.
That's one of the favorite things. We've got our urgent care in Burley, and that's one of the favorite things that employers in that area have found, and we've already found that here in Twin Falls just in the week and a half that we've been open. With workman's comp, we try to set it up with local companies to where we can save them money. We do some discounts on those services. And one of their favorite things, we can set it up to tailor it to their business however they want it. If they want every person that walks through the door to have us just bill it straight to the workman's comp insurance, we can do that. If they want us to send all those claims right to the employer and have them look at it and then decide what they want to do, a lot of employers will say, if the bill's not very much money, I'm just going to pay it myself. I'll pay that self-pay discount rate and not have to turn it into my insurance so that my premiums don't get raised. Mm-hmm. We can do that, absolutely. Or they look at it and say, it's a high enough bill, or I think there's going to be some future surgeries. Go ahead and submit it to my workman's comp insurance for me. We can do that.
Okay.
To every business, whatever they want us to do. We have a lot of businesses that will say, I want you to do a drug screen on every employee when they come in. Some of them don't want that at all. We have a lot of them that want them, when do they want them to be returned to work? It's basically, we tailor it to what their business wants. We enter the notes in one time in our computer, and then they're set to go.
All righty. And you might highlight, you have an excellent location in Twin Falls. Highlight exactly where it is and landmarks that they can equate to know where to get there.
And everybody, the only complaint we've had is we're built where the old Sonic was in Twin Falls. It's on Addison Avenue East, and the address is 2392 Addison Avenue East. And so the only complaint is people still want to come in and get their Sonic chillers or their smoothies or whatever Sonic used to sell. So we don't do that.
Okay.
But other than that, it's an awesome location. We're right next to where Kmart is, between the Jiffy Lube and the Harley-Davidson store on Addison Avenue East. And we've had so many people just stop by and say how excited they are that we're in this location, because there is nothing like that on this side of town.
Absolutely.
There's all the new subdivisions. There's some of the new schools. The elementary school that's being built here in Twin Falls District is really close by. All of Kimberly, Hanson, Murtaugh, Southern Twin Falls, Hazleton, Eden. We are so much closer and convenient for everybody, and we're just right on Addison Avenue East.
Sean, you're doing a great job. I really appreciate the effort you put forth this morning to come on our program. And once again, please reiterate the hours of Urgent Care of Twin Falls.
You betcha. We are open Monday through Saturday from 9 in the morning until 9 o'clock at night. And when I say that, I mean 9 o'clock at night. Last night we had a patient that came in at 8:59. We logged him in. We got him taken care of.
Okay.
So when we say we're open, we are open from 9 in the morning until 9 o'clock at night, Monday through Saturday. And then on Sundays from 9 o'clock until 3 o'clock.
Absolutely a great location serving the public, and that's Urgent Care of Twin Falls with the clinic manager, Sean Christensen, on our program this morning. Sean, God bless. Thank you so much for being on the show, and come back soon, would you please?
Thank you, Zeb. I appreciate it.
All right, sir. Thank you very much. Urgent Care of Twin Falls, along with other locations in Burley and Jerome. We really appreciate them. Got to pay some bills here real quick, and I want to remind you about Cameron and Siemens Insurance, Highway 24 in Rupert. Oh, yes, the best of life insurance, health insurance, retirement planning, employee benefits. All of this and more, and don't put it off on the back burner. Don't just sit there and say, well, I'll take care of it next week, and then put it off and say, well, I'll take care of it the week after that. No. Work with the people that can help you and are always accessible and devoted to serving you. Cameron and Siemens Insurance, Highway 24 in Rupert. The number to call for an appointment, 436-4424. You get a hold of them today. By the way, real quick, don't forget Red's Trading Post. Oh, my goodness sakes, 203 5th Avenue South in Twin Falls, located since 1936 in historic Old Town Twin Falls. Well, I'm telling you, Ryan is keeping on the family tradition right there at Red's Trading Post, and they've got all the new firearms from Browning, Beretta, Weatherby, Ruger, Benelli, Smith & Wesson, and Winchester, and all the ammo, all the accessories. And I want to make this point, too, that they've got that hard-to-find powder for all the reloaders, too. Stop in and see them today, along with gunsmithing services at Red's Trading Post, 203 5th Avenue South in Twin Falls. Holy smokes! Where'd all these dogs come from anywhere? They're all over the place this morning. Oh, my goodness sakes, we've got dogs here, dogs there. We've got dogs chasing cats. We've got them all over the place. And here is old Kennel Ken with us this morning, Ken Mort, Officer Mort, with Minidoka Animal Control. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Zeb. How are you today?
I think we're going to make it. We're going to take a poll at about 5 o'clock just to make sure.
That works. Make sure you're still kicking, right?
Yeah, what can I do for you today?
Well, luckily today I have nobody to feature on that. We've actually found homes for everybody that we've been sitting on for the last little over a week and a half, to include Delta that we featured last week. We found her a home up in Washington where she's going to go and have a wonderful life and stuff, so we're excited about that. She's actually, we've got a transport going to be showing up this weekend to take her to her new home.
Okay.
And that, I have picked up over the last couple of days 3 strays that have been out running at large. One of them is a Beagle cross, and it was just found running around by a local that brought it in over to our facility and dropped it off. We also have we've come to the conclusion, with the help of the vet, that it is a Corgi Dachshund cross.
Oh, my.
And he is about 9 to 10 months old. We named him Riley, and just as friendly as I'll get out. He does have some skin issues.
Mm-hmm.
They're thinking that it was due to either sleeping in straw or possibly got on or was using some old insulation, fiberglass insulation.
Okay.
On that, but we've got medication and that to help get that corrected for him. And then I also picked up like a red-nosed pit cross on out south of Rupert on South Meridian, and he is just as friendly as all get out and loves people, loves being around other animals. Well-mannered. We actually had a gentleman that stopped in to talk to us about volunteering because he actually works with dogs that are a little on the food aggression side and can be a little bit aggressive towards other dogs that he's really good at working with, and he wanted to try something out, so he put a handful of kibble down on the floor, and as the dog went to go after it, he looked at the dog, put his hand up, and says no. The dog looked at him, went over, laid back down, and then the guy waited a couple minutes and says, okay, now you can come and get it. The dog got up, come over, and ate up the kibble. He tried that about 2 or 3 more times, and, that dog is just well-mannered, well-behaved, and he'll be available Wednesday of next week if we don't have an owner come forward. We named him Preacher.
Mm-hmm.
He's a real sweet dog. So if anybody's missing any dogs and stuff and that fitting those descriptions, please get in contact with us, or know somebody that's missing dogs that fitting that description. Make sure they have them get in touch with us. And our numbers are 438-2200. My cell phone is 670-7268, and Habron's Animal Control Officer's number is 670-4348.
I can guarantee you, I can bet you a $100 bill that if that person put a little bit of kibbles and bits on the floor in front of our dog Ruby and told her to wait, she would take his arm off.
I can believe it. She's a lot like you, Deb. You put a plate of food in front of you, and you better hurry and pull your arm back because you'll be missing if it's not fast enough.
Ruby is actually a mini Aussie and Corgi cross, but she's a pit bull in her own mind, but don't get in the way of her food.
Exactly. I've got my dog and stuff in it this morning. I've got a little, what they call a Chorgi, which is a Chihuahua Corgi.
Oh, my.
Her name is Bear. She is 8 years old. Well, her and the cats my kids have got, they get along great. Well, this morning and stuff and that, she was wanting to drink the water. One of the cats was in there drinking the water, so she turned around and looked at the cat, barked at the cat. Cat took off running so she could get her water.
You know, it's just like us. We sit up on our sun deck on occasion when the afternoon sun is just really nice and warm, and Ruby goes out on the porch with us, and woe betide any cat that is dumb enough to take a stroll in the sunshine within eyesight of Ruby. She is on a high cat alert.
I know of several people that have got dogs like that. Matter of fact, a buddy of mine's got a Pomeranian, Annette, that is actually going blind. But his senses and stuff and that are so strong, he even smells a cat. And he goes in the direction of that smell and chases them off.
You know, a Pomeranian with all that hair standing up in the breeze, that must look like a sponge on wheels, man. It's got to be fun watching.
Oh, yeah, or a little miniature lion.
There you go. Hey, if they want to get a hold of you, Ken, give us the numbers again, please.
Again, the numbers are 438-2200. My cell phone number is 670-7268. And Deb Hines with Haber Animal Control is 670-4348.
All right. Oh, by the way, before I forget, you're going to be an older man on Saturday, aren't you?
Yep, I'm celebrating another anniversary.
No, you're celebrating another birthday.
Well, I'm calling them anniversaries now.
Well, now listen, I got a spare set of crutches here in the closet. I'll bring them over to you, old man.
I was hoping for one of them nice tracked hover rounds. I think I'm going to need one of them before I need the crutches.
You know, I'm looking at a gizmo right now myself to buy. It's called a Zappy. Holy smokes, can we have fun on those? We could have a drag race right down in front of the Paul Police Department.
There we go.
All right, buddy. Take care of yourself. Have a good day. All right. Officer Ken Mort, where'd all these dogs come from anyway? Holy smokes. Thank you very much to Ken Mort and Minidoka Animal Control. Hey, Wheels, something happened about a half hour ago on the program, and the sound that I'm getting in my headset sounds completely different, kind of muffled. Was there anything that might have changed or a switch that would have been bumped or something? It changed quite a bit. And he's probably talking to Ken Mort. Anyhow, don't forget, Lee's Furniture, Floors, and more. Did you hear that you could save on sofas and love seats and sectionals and sleepers? You can save up to about 50%? Well, I'm not kidding. And did you hear on dining room furniture, all dining room and bar stools and dinettes, you can save up to 50% on that? And listen to this, you can save, my goodness, great amounts of money on their recliners, some starting at $299. Oh, that's the place to go. Oh, that's the place to be at Lee's Furniture, Floors, and more. 459 Overland in Burley. You stop in and see those good folks today. Right now, let's go to the phone line, and with me on the phone is a lovely lady, and we're going to talk about all things political this half hour. Good morning, Rita Ramsey. How are you?
Good morning. I'm real good. Thank you.
Okay, got to ask you right up front, what did you think about the last Super Tuesday where Idaho was involved with 32 delegates? What did you think about the net result?
Actually, I was quite pleased to see there's a little sanity in Idaho. I was hoping that they would not lose their mind.
Well, now that tells it like it is. Okay, now that you have voiced your approval of the event, where does it stand in your mind's eye on a national level right now?
Well, at this point, it's really hard to say. There's a ton of people that think that we need to have a reality star, and you can ask Minnesota how that worked out for them with Jesse Ventura, and you can ask California how that worked out for them with Schwarzenegger, and it didn't work out at all. And that's what happens when you get somebody that's just, recognizable name, and, that's who we want. The other thing hasn't worked. That doesn't always solve the issue. And so I'm hoping that in these next few weeks that people will start to get real and start deciding that they want somebody that's constitutional. Of course, I'm bent a little closer towards Cruz because he is constitutional than the others, because you haven't heard much about Constitution with any of the others that are still left. However, any of them would be better than Hillary at this point. I do think that if Trump is the nominee, that he will have an extremely difficult time with all of his baggage to get anybody but Hillary in there. So I'm just a little skeptical, and I hope that people, across the country will start making some choices that are more like, well, you know what, maybe we ought to have somebody that's a little more constitutional. I guess the biggest issue with me is that I don't mind if somebody cancels my vote because they're informed and they like somebody different than who I like.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm informed, I want to place my vote, but I don't want somebody just off the cuff going, oh yeah, Obama, he's good, I'll just vote for him. Or, oh, I saw Trump on TV, I recognize his name, and they don't know a thing about it. Now, if they're informed, they know everything about it, and they still think that that's the one that they want to have because they think he'll be a better one at instituting the Constitution again and not skating around it, and no executive overreach, then I'm okay with that. But it really bugs me if somebody cancels my vote when they're uninformed.
Now, that was very well stated. But now I'm going to ask you about what took place last night, and I want to get your opinion on this. I don't care who the candidate is, and I really don't care what party they represent. But I found it to be very low-classed when Hillary and Bernie were asked the question of, do you think that Donald Trump is racist? And the reason I'm asking you this, Rita, is because I think when you start throwing that racist tag out, as easy as you might throw pennies at little kids on the floor during a holiday, I find that to be very repulsive. I think that racism tag is not something that's just speculation or opinion. What are your thoughts?
Well, they only do that because they're desperate. They have nothing else to say. With all of Donald Trump's things that I'm against him on, racist isn't one of them because I've never seen that with him. So I think that's purely just them being desperate, thinking, oh, if we just call the racist card, everybody will do it. Because what ends up happening is they hear that and then nobody ever retracts it back. And so it just kind of keeps going along, and you hear the press echo it out, oh, they called him racist, and so then somebody hears that, oh, he must be racist, and then it just echoes and echoes and echoes. But with all of the things that Trump is or has against him, racist is not one of them, and that's really terrible. And they're just skating the issues that they have. Bernie Sanders and Hillary's, their big issues are more with climate change and climate change deniers and things like that, instead of, hey, let's solve things. What their interest is they just want to take control. They want to take anybody's choice away from them on anything, and they will do whatever they have to, and that's what's really sad. Just to show what's brewing at the Washington level, and we haven't paid attention to it because we've been paying so much attention to the elections, and rightfully so, is Attorney General Lynch has testified before that the Justice Department has discussed civil legal action against climate change deniers.
Yeah, and it's
like, seriously?
Yeah, really. This whole nation is being tipped upside down by the PC liberal loons. And I want to ask you another question about what occurred in that debate and the questioning from Univision's Jorge Ramos. I got to tell you that I was shocked that this guy, Jorge Ramos, normally very, very liberal, and he's attacked Donald Trump and he's attacked others and everything, which is fine. He's an investigative reporter. But when he asked Hillary if she is indicted, will she drop out of the presidential race, you could have started a forest fire with the flames that were in Hillary's eyes. What did you think about that?
Well, actually, I was quite impressed that he would actually ask that. And when I heard him ask it, it's like, I can't believe that he would do that. Obviously, I don't know what end he's on, but I was really impressed to think that he would ask that. The other thing is, and this is going to be an excellent, excellent soundbite, and if somebody doesn't make a political ad out of it, they've really missed the boat. Because all they have to do is have her answering that question and saying, when he asked about what's her name? She said that, you guys told her this, and she absolutely said, that lady is wrong. She lied. She's the one who lied, not me.
Let me interrupt you right there and set that up a little bit. It was Sean Smith's mother, Mrs. Smith, that absolutely said that Hillary is an absolute liar.
Well, she went on to say, and it wasn't just Hillary. She went down the list.
Yep.
Told him how, Biden and Obama, all of them said, yeah, this is, we'll get back with you, and it was that terrible video and everything, and then she denies it. She says it and says that lady's lying. She's not telling the truth, and then I think they can make a political ad showing Hillary and Obama actually saying it on TV.
Yes.
They did it for 2 weeks.
Yes.
Before they finally just quit saying it. And so they were saying it was a video, and we know it wasn't a video, and they knew it before, and just to prove what a lie it is. But whether the press will take it up and do something with it, or if somebody will make a political ad about it, is what they really ought to do as the race progresses here. But it's just absolutely horrible that you can call them out on the carpet and they'll say, oh, no, they're lying, and then nobody rebutes it. And I guess we'll see today if there's much, pushback from it.
Well, I've asked you this question before, but I got to keep asking it because I don't get anybody really that can come up with an answer, and I can't answer it either. Why and how does the American public accept the likes of a socialist/communist like Bernie Sanders and accept someone like Hillary Clinton that's a liar, a fraud, and a charlatan, and possibly going to be indicted on a felonious charge? How can they accept that in the Democratic Party as leadership? I'm still confused.
Well, there's two things. The first thing is that there's a lot of those people that say, well, they're promising us this, that, and the other, and so that's what we want. And the other thing is that they are just so dyed in the wool that they won't even do any looking into or change. And that's why the people in the Republican Party, it's like, you know what? I don't care if you want to vote Republican, that's fine, but you better make sure that you do your paperwork. Do your homework. Find out who's what they really stand for, what their record is, where they were 5 or 6 years ago on those things. That's what's bad about Trump is 2 years ago he was this and now he's that, and you go back and forth. And you can go to some of these people and they're back and forth on it so fast that it doesn't even have time to gel before it's changed. And if they would do their homework and find out what it is, they would do it. But it's kind of like, nope, she's a Democrat and we don't really care. We're just going to take her no matter what. Well, you can't do that with the person who's going to lead the country and have anything good come of it.
Absolutely. We have a caller with a question. Go ahead, caller, quickly. You're on the air. Go ahead.
Yeah, thank you, Zeb. Rita, I know how well informed you are and appreciate it and respect that very much. Could you straighten out one thing one more time? As Zeb says, we got to go over it one more time. How Ted Cruz is qualified to be president and is not a liar.
All right. Rita, would you address that about Ted Cruz? Go ahead.
Well, there are a number of items, and I don't know exactly which one Trump would be referring to when he calls Ted Cruz a liar, but they talk about mostly with immigration to start with, probably, in that, he this or he that. There's been a number of things that Ted Cruz has done, and when he very first got to Washington, he went in and he uprooted everybody and started going the direction of we've got to get rid of Obamacare. That's what he promised his constituents that he would do. And that was when he did the filibuster. And he had 2 other senators that actually participated with him, and everybody else was against him. And everybody else really hated him hated him for that. And that's where the deal about, well, he doesn't get along with anybody in Washington. You're darn right he doesn't. And that's who you want, is somebody that's against them. And then when the trade thing came along and they asked him to vote on it, McConnell told them that there were certain things in the trade agreement and certain things that weren't in the trade agreement. And so they got up for a vote, and when they get up to vote, and then they're able to read everything, then they find out that Mitch McConnell had lied to them, and that's when Ted Cruz came out and said, hey, you have lied to us. You told us specifically these things were not in here. So he changed his mind on the trade thing. But the immigration deal, Ted Cruz is totally against those who have come here illegally being able to have a path to citizenship. And that's really the way that it should be. If you come here illegally, you need to go through the proper steps. So you need to back up and go back and come and do it right, get in line like the other people, not just have it granted to you. And that's what Rubio's big problem was, is that he was ready to just have everybody who's been here illegally, if they'll just sign up and pay a fine, we'll let them have a green card and they can apply for citizenship, and then they're on the road to doing that. And he got coerced into that by some Democrats that wanted to get any of the illegals in here that were here illegal to sign up so they could vote. Most of them would vote Democratic.
You know, Rita, I've got to take a break for just about 60 seconds with the weather forecast, and I want to come back and I want to talk to you about Marco Rubio and also about Barack Obama. So we've got more coming up in just a moment. Stay tuned. Weather this hour is brought to you by Rogge Auction Spring Community Sale. It's going to be on April 9th. Don't forget that. The great big huge Spring Community Sale, and it's going to be at the Minidoka County Fairgrounds. Consign early now to get your items on the sale bill. Farm equipment, livestock equipment, and weapons and ammo and ATVs, side-by-sides, but they are not going to take household items for this sale. This is going to be a real classy sale, so you get a hold of Ron Rogge at 431-6187 or Cade Rogge at 431-0074. The great big Rogge Auction Community Sale coming up on April 9th. Here's Gina with the weather.
We are getting one more day closer to the weekend. We still have Friday left to go, but first we got to get through today. Looks like cloudy skies. It is going to be on the windy side, out of the southeast, right around 18 miles an hour. Warming up to about 66 for today. Tonight you can expect a low of 40. Those clouds are going to be sticking around for tomorrow as well. Winds dying down. That's going to be nice. High of 66 for Friday. Overnight low of 41. Partly cloudy and 60 for Saturday. And for Sunday and Monday, we are expecting rain showers, plus the wind's going to be picking up as well. Highs are going to be in the upper 40s to low 50s. Yesterday's high was 51. The overnight low was 34. That is your weather for Zebit the Rain.
I appreciate that. Thanks, Gina. Brought to you this hour by Rogge Auction Spring Community Sale coming up on April 9th at the Minidoka County Fairgrounds. You be sure and consign early to get your items on the sale bill. Rita, I want to ask you a little bit about Marco Rubio. This morning, I was watching at 3:45 this morning the news clips of an interview from yesterday, to where the interview went to the point where, do you think you made a mistake by acting in such a low-class manner against Donald Trump and your jokes and your attacks and everything? And he admitted that it was not him and that it did hurt his campaign. And quite frankly, from the time he started doing it, his percentage numbers lowered to the point where he's almost out of the race. What are your thoughts?
Well, I think that he kind of went a little bit too far on some of that stuff. However, some of the things that he said, other people started adding on to it, and so what he originally said probably wasn't as bad, but it turned out to be just a big fiasco in the whole thing. And I know that Rubio said that, you know, the most important political office in the world needs to be somebody who is other than just a reality star. I mean, here we've got a reality star that thinks that everything's just a game and you can turn things around or you're fired or any of that kind of stuff, instead of really looking at the things. Well, he's a businessman. He can do this and that and the other. And so I really think that what Rubio did and the way that he kind of piled on there was probably a little over the top. And I know that he said that it embarrassed his wife and kids, and he's really sorry that he had kind of gone down that path. So I think that, at least he was manning up and admitting to it. You'll never get an admission out of many other politicians on something like that. So I think that was pretty big of him to do that. I also think that he doesn't have really a chance to get to the presidency unless they do their brokered convention and should happen to actually choose him because he wins Florida. But I would really be surprised if he wins Florida at this point. So if I was him, I would say, you know what, I think I'm going to throw behind the leader right now, push my delegates to him, and see if we can't make a concerted effort to go directly, and maybe I can save my political image. Maybe he can run for governor or something like that, or have a place in the cabinet if we get a Republican in there. But I just don't see that Rubio really has much of a path to get there.
Well, you brought up a very interesting point, and I was talking to a good friend last night. If I were Rubio, and you can feel free to correct me if you think I'm wrong on this, Rita, if I were Rubio today, right now at noon today, I would withdraw out of the race. Here's why. He is supposedly on all the polls approximately 20 percentage points behind Trump. And with losing that big, possibly and potentially next Tuesday, it's really going to create a bad persona for him to try to even stay in politics, let alone become a presidential nominee. I think he'd be better off by, like what you just said, get out now, save face, and then try to run on another day.
Well, I really think that's how he can get out of this unscathed, because if he stays in it much longer, he will ruin his whole political future. And, he could go in and say, well, I'm showing so many points, and Ted Cruz is showing so many points, and if I pull out right now, there's a possibility that one of them can win Florida, and because after all, he's hoping that, his main thing is that he's against Trump, because Trump was the front runner, and so that's what I think that he should do, and then he can have a pathway to, protecting his political future if that's what he has in mind. I
agree. Let me ask you one final thought here this morning, and I know a lot of people think I'm piling on Barack Obama, and it's true. I don't like him. He didn't attend the funeral for Antonin Scalia, the Supreme Court Justice, and now he personally is not going to attend the funeral for Nancy Reagan, former First Lady and wife to Ronald Reagan. I think this man is showing an extreme amount of low class. Am I wrong?
No, you're not. I've heard some people kind of giving him a pass on it, saying, well, he can't do everything, so he has to do this. Well, remember a few years ago when he was at a funeral, and him and a couple of the other heads of state or people or wives or whatever from heads of state were taking selfies of each other. I think it was over in South Africa.
Yeah.
Whatever his name was, funeral. I can't even remember for sure by now, but I'm thinking, he only has golf games that he has to do. He does not have to do anything. He should make way and do the right thing. And it doesn't matter what political party you are. You're the President of the United States. You need to show respect for people. But it's no different than him taking the bust of Winston Churchill out of the White House because he didn't like, Europe or England.
Right.
And so he's just petty, and it's showing that he is so low class. Even somebody that was even a redneck that just doesn't have any idea what's going on would show a little respect for someone in that regard. And so I think it's just absolutely bad.
All right. Now, let me ask you quickly, what's going on with the Tea Party?
We've got a Tea Party meeting tonight at 7 o'clock at the city of Burley, and we invite everybody to come if they want to get a little education. So,
okay. Rita, any final thoughts on politics as we go into next Tuesday, which will be probably kind of a winner-take-all on a lot of things, Ohio and Florida. What do you think?
Well, it kind of looks like that Kasich could probably win Ohio, and it's looking like that Trump could do fairly well. However, he hasn't panned out like everybody said. He's just going to clear the whole table and take everything, and that isn't the case, because right now he and before actually, I think as of the one that was Tuesday night, he and Cruz are tied for delegates.
Right.
So they were tied for the delegates they got there. He's actually ahead of Cruz on delegates, but there's a pathway for Cruz to get in there, and I think that people hopefully will use a little discretion and do a little homework and decide if they want a reality star that isn't telling the truth and calling everybody else a liar. So,
Rita, I always look forward to Thursdays and your very honest appraisal of what's going on in politics. Thank you very much. God bless, and we'll see you next Thursday.
Okay, thanks, bye.
You bet. Take care. Rita Ramsey on our program every Thursday at 9:30. A very, very forthright lady, and I appreciate her opinions. Oh, man, I am hungry. Oh, you know what's coming, don't you? Yeah, you know what's coming. I'm hungry, and I'm starving to death. Yes, I am, and I know some great places for you to go if you are hungry and starving to death. First and foremost, I want to remind you about Taco Bandito, 2301 Overland in Burley. Now, they're closed for remodeling right now. They are closed for remodeling, and hopefully they're going to be back open for business next Monday, the 14th. Yes, they're upgrading their entire business, their entire restaurant for you. So don't forget that. I think they're going to be closed through the weekend and open next Monday, the 14th, at Taco Bandito, 2301 Overland in Burley. How about Steve-O's? 290 South, 600 west of Heyburn. Food made the way you love it. Oh, my goodness, they got those delicious buffalo burgers, and they got the fresh hand-cut steak fries or regular fries, and they've got the Steve-O's nacho fries, topped with cheese and jalapeno peppers, and the pork chops. Oh, it's just all good. It's all good. Great people at Steve-O's, 290 South, 600 west of Heyburn. Yep. Food made the way you love it. Let's move on over to two locations. Burgers, etc. at 124 South Oneida in Rupert and 700 Overland in Burley. Did you know that they've got hamburgers only 99 cents and cheeseburgers only $1.29 after 3 p.m. in the afternoon? Hold on to your hunger till 3. And then don't forget to delicious onion rings and tater tots and all the great meals available. And every Sunday they've got a shrimp dinner special at the Burley location. Oh my goodness, you're going to love Burgers, etc. in Rupert and Burley. Let's move on over to the AC Drive-In, 601 East Main in Burley. Oh my goodness, they've got all those chocolate mint milkshakes in honor of St. Patrick's Day, and you can have that chocolate mint milkshake with a chicken fried steak sandwich. Oh, they're good. With the fries and the special sauce, or maybe have a famous Farmer Brown burger. Oh my goodness, you're just going to love the food and the great service right there at the AC Drive-In, 601 East Main in Burley. Last but not least, El Caporal. Oh, this is good. This is good. Whether you're in there for lunch, dinner, drinks, parties, or whatever to celebrate, you're going to love the food. I mean, we're talking quality, fresh ingredients, and voted the best Mexican restaurant in Burley 3 years in a row. Oh, my! You're going to love it. El Caporal at 610 North Overland in Burley. You stop in and see them today. And those are just a few great places to go when you're hungry and starving to death. I am. Okay, coming up next hour, what have we got? We've got the Cassia County School Days, and we're going to be talking to the principal of Raft River Elementary School, Tina Luke, and she's going to be on the program. And then our business salute at 10:23 is going to be Mount Harrison Audiology with Dr. Christine Pickup. And then at 10:32, my old buddy, my old TV buddy. Yep, we had our TV show together for years. Cowboy Country. Johnny Yu is going to be on my program this morning at about 10:32. Don't you go away. News next from CBS. We'll see you in 6. Here we go. Hour number 3. Zeb at the Ranch. I'm Zeb Bell. Good morning to you and your family and your friends and your neighborhood. And don't forget our major sponsor, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. All 7 locations serving you with the best in tires, the best in brake service. Yes, sir, they are the best. And also, our dear friends, one of our great advertisers, Western Waste Services, always at your disposal. Get on the route service today, 734-6969. In a few moments, the phone rings, scares me to death. In a few moments, we're going to have our Cassia County School Days. But before we do, I want to remind you about Doug's Alternator and Starter Repair at 635 21st Street, Alfresco Road in Heyburn. And the number to jot down on your refrigerator or on the dust on the dash of your pickup, 878-4991. Doug bought the business when it was Ted's Diesel Electric Service, changed the name now to Doug's Alternator and Starter Repair, and he can rebuild starters, alternators, generators, fix everything from lawn mowers to choo-choo trains. So get a hold of him today. Doug's Alternator and Starter Repair, 878-4991. Let's see, what else have we got cooking? Next week on the program, don't forget that we've got a lot of features that we're going to run next week. And also next week is St. Patrick's Day on Thursday. And we will be over at Denny's Restaurant, 611 Overland in Burley on next Thursday, not today. We've had some people get it confused, on the 17th. And it's Wear Green. That's right, in honor of St. Patrick's Day. And the person that looks the most like a green little leprechaun will get a free lunch. Okay? We'll see you over there at Denny's next Thursday. And a lot of great guests next week. We've got, we're working on getting, and I want to tell you this right now, Brigitte Gabriel. And to all of the liberals that live in this area that think, oh, well, yeah, bring in all the refugees. Oh, well, yeah, bring in all the Muslim refugees. Oh, well, yeah. She's going to really tell it like it is, because no one knows more about what's happening with the Muslim problem than Brigitte Gabriel. And we're very honored to have her come back onto our program. Excuse me. She's appeared on Hannity and O'Reilly and every major news network, and she knows, whereas some of the locals, they don't. Let's also say right now we're getting ready for Cassia County School Days, and it's brought to you by 2 wonderful businesses. First of all, the Ambulatory Surgery Center at 1344 Highland Avenue in Burley for all your outpatient surgeries, whether it's ear surgery or whether it's life-saving colonoscopies or dental procedures, whatever. I highly suggest you give them a call and find out how they can save you hundreds of dollars and get outstanding care. Ambulatory Surgery Center at 1344 Highland Avenue in Burley. The number to call, 677-8888. And also A Child's World at 1308 Overland in Burley. Spring is coming. The flowers are growing and blooming, and the birds, the robins are in the tree. Well, they've got all the spring clothing right there at A Child's World. And don't forget, what a great place to go for all the birthday presents. And remember, they always gift wrap free, and they've got all the fun cultural puzzles and games, and they carry all the Cherokee scrubs, everything. You just stop in. You'll be glad you did at A Child's World, 1308 Overland in Burley. With us on the telephone right now is the principal of Raft River Elementary School, Tina Luke. Good morning, Tina. How are you?
She hasn't called in yet.
Well, she'd better hurry.
I hope so.
Okay, me too. What are you doing over there at the studio? Just sitting back, taking it easy, not working, or just enjoying the day?
Yeah, when we went to news, I went out on a little break, and then I've been in here since about 10:02 or so, and I've just been watching the phone patiently.
All right.
Kind of gritting my teeth a little bit, wondering if she'd call in. So.
All right, well, we're waiting patiently, and hopefully she's going to call. I do not have a backup number given to me for her, and if she's listening, I hope she's going to get on the line real soon. But until she does, we'll take some calls from any of our listeners out there in Radio Land that want to voice their opinion over anything. The number to call, 436-2244 or 1-866-927-4444. 4587. Give us a jingle on the landline, if you would, please. Tina Luke, if you're listening, principal of Raft River Elementary School, you are on, hopefully, right now. So get on the phone. Somebody that knows her up in that area, give her a call. Tell her to look at the clock and give us a call. Up until then, give us a jingle on the landline, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. At 10:30 this morning, we're going to have my old buddy that we had a TV show together for quite a few years, Cowboy Country, and Johnny Yu's going to be on the program talking about the Idaho Veterans Store that is just north of Shoshone, and I believe it's Johnny's idea and concept, and along with his horse program, we're going to see how it fits in for the veterans. So that's going to be at 10:32 this morning. Has she called in yet, Wheels?
No, sir, I haven't heard a jingle.
Okay, well, why don't you, if you get a chance on another line, try to call Raft River Elementary School and find out where she is, because she is due on the air right now. And Debbie Critchfield, if you're listening, maybe you also could give her a call and jog her memory that we've got to get her on the air right now. We're running out of time to get her on the program. So give us a jingle. 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. I was going through some of my news notes from... Did you get her, Wheels? Oh, I thought I heard you.
I am calling the school right now.
Calling the school right now. Okay, well, let me know what they say. And last night it was kind of interesting. We talked about Coach Buzz Williams from Virginia Tech, and they played last night on television, and I noticed, I happened to catch the opening national anthem ceremonies. This is the team, and Buzz Williams is the coach that really ripped into his players for not showing enough respect for the national anthem and our American flag at the opening ceremonies of every game. And boy, those kids, those young men really stood at attention last night, and nobody moved when they had that national anthem. So whatever he did well, because they showed more respect than any other team I've seen so far this year at the singing and playing of our national anthem. Let's check back over with Wheels and see where our guest is. Tina Luke, we have lost her. Wheels, have you found anybody?
The lady at the front desk is putting me straight through to her.
Okay, so keep me informed and tell him this is not just a casual call. We've got time wasting here, and we have to get him on the air.
Yes, sir. I told her that she was on the air right now.
Okay. All right. Well, hopefully she's going to be there talking about some of the programs over at Raft River Elementary School. This is one of those situations that I don't like when it happens on live radio. We have to wait and get people on the air for various subjects, and I don't have that much time on Thursdays. So hopefully she'll pick up the phone momentarily. Is she there, Wheels?
Yes, sir.
Tina, you better buy a brand new watch because you're late. Is she there?
Yes.
Oh, Tina Luke, the principal of Raft River Elementary School. We were waiting for your call.
Yes, I didn't have your number. I thought you were calling me.
No, that's not the name of the game. You were supposed to call into us, but now that we've got you, that's irrelevant. What's going on quickly in the time remaining in this segment up at Raft River Elementary School? I understand you have some various programs you wanted to discuss.
Yes, well, there's a few things. We are getting a new playground, some new playground equipment, and that's thanks to our PTO. We had a jogathon last fall and raised $15,000 for new playground equipment. And so we were really excited about that. We have Marlene Hall, who was over that, and she gathered some donations, and we're actually going to have a ribbon cutting ceremony when it's finished and put in. We have a security system that's coming in thanks to Sheriff Heward. He applied for a grant, so we're able to get cameras in our school to protect us and keep us safe and keep our kids safe. Do you want me to just keep going down the list?
Well, no, let's talk. Don't just make a list. Let's talk about some of the definitive attitudes of these various programs, like the security system. It's really a shame today that money has to be allocated like it is for these high-tech security systems. But whether it's a school at Raft River or a school in Chicago, they're all very necessary, aren't they?
Yes, they are. Yep, they are. We share our elementary school, the lunchroom, with the high school, so we have to keep our back doors at the back of the school open so that students from the high school have access to the lunchroom. And so, someone could come in our school and we wouldn't have any idea to how, who was coming in and who wasn't. So these cameras are going to be very helpful. I'll have a monitor in my office that will monitor, and I can see all of the cameras at the different parts of the schools.
Okay, you have a very soft voice, Tina, so I need you to speak up. What else is going on up there at the elementary school that you really want to elaborate on?
Well, we have had a reading night for our school last month, where parents and students were invited to come in and read, and we ordered and sent home books with the students, and bookmarks and stickers and things with the students, and it was really a fun evening. The communication with our parents is great. We have such a wonderful community out here with people who are willing to help. Just the same thing with the playground equipment. We have people that are coming in and helping do that so that it saves in the cost of the money. Just wonderful parents out here, wonderful students out here, and just appreciate all that they do for us. This week having a kindness week where the PTO has come in, and we have a counselor, Rachel Jensen, who has put together this week program. We have some different things going on with different outfits and costumes that they wear to promote kindness in the school, which I think is really important nowadays. We have a lot of kids who are really good at behaving well and doing the things that they're supposed to and being very kind to others. And so it's just kind of a special week this week.
One of the things I wanted to ask you about, and it still amazes me that in this day and age with the high technocracy and everything else, reading is still a problem. Why is this such a problem still today with our younger children and, quite frankly, even some adults?
Well, that's a good question. I think the biggest thing is that we need to put a lot of emphasis on our kindergarten and first grade classrooms, because it seems like if students aren't reading well by the time they reach third grade, then they're always behind the 8 ball, which makes it hard. So I think personally, I would love to see kindergarten by the state required instead of not required. The funding would be different and would allow us to put a lot more emphasis on lower student, 1-to-1 ratio with teachers, and you always are going to have. We're all different, and some of us have to work hard to maintain good grades, and some of us it comes naturally for us. Some of us we have excellent teachers out here. But there's just some things that I think we're just always going to be working at. But I think if we put the focus on the kindergarten and first grade reading, second grade reading, that is really the place where it's at.
Well, let me ask you this part of the question, though. You're a teacher. You have success in your classroom. You're really high on the way the kids are elevating their education every day. You can see the results. Okay, how do people like some of the big athletes that are in the professional ranks, whether it's the NBA, Major League Baseball, the NFL, doesn't make any difference. There are many, many that have gone through the elementary, high school, and college ranks into the pros, and they can't even read a contract before they sign it. How do they fall through the cracks?
I don't know. According to other getting that far out of the education system and still not being able to read. I don't know. The success, that we have here in these smaller schools is much higher. To not be able to even read on a third grade level, I don't see that, there are students going out of our educational system out here that are in that situation. Possibly there are some maybe in special ed that aren't able to do that. But as far as I know, in our little area out here, that students would be able to be reading well enough in order to graduate.
And your school district up there at Raft River is very indicative of small school success. And when I say small school success, I get sick and tired as much as I travel around the country. I hear people say, well, our kids have got to go to a bigger school if they want to get a quality education. That's not true. I know there's a lot of dedication and there's a lot of perseverance in any of the schools, especially like over where you teach. People really care, and the kids are getting a great education.
They are, and I have to say that the community that we have, parents are so involved in their child's education. They want them to be successful. The teachers put so much time and effort and their whole souls into making sure that the students are getting everything that they need. And I have hardly any discipline problems in my school. Just a well-rounded place with good teachers and good students and good parents.
Well, right there, though, you touched it, and I think it should be elaborated on. You have good parents, and the parents are involved in the kids and their education, and if there is a disciplinary problem, the parents work with you and probably take care of it. And that's why I'm a real advocate of the smaller schools, because I think some of the best, well-mannered kids that turn into young adults come from a small school environment.
Well, I just know that, the parents here are just so supportive. And so just like what you said, they are always backing me. If there's ever a problem, I have to call someone in. But like I said, I rarely have a behavior problem. They're very good kids, very good parents. They just, old-fashioned values, I guess.
That's right. Well, Tina Luke, principal of Raft River Elementary School, I've got to run. I'm out of time in this segment, but I appreciate you coming on the air this morning, and we'll try to get you on again in the future. On behalf of Cassia County School Days, thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right,
Bye.
Thank you. And brought to you by Ambulatory Surgery Center at 1344 Highland Avenue in Burley and A Child's World at 1308 Overland in Burley, bringing you School Days in Cassia County. Right now, we're going to go right back to that telephone, and we're going to be talking to Dr. Christine Pickup of Mount Harrison Audiology and Hearing Aids. Good morning, Doctor. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I knew without any worry whatsoever you'd be on the other end of the line this morning. Thank you for being ready for our call. We appreciate it.
Of course.
Okay. Dr. Pickup, let me ask you this, and we've talked about this before. Many people, myself included, thought that hearing loss was associated to getting older, a little long in the tooth and a little long in the earlobe, and they thought, well, that's just natural to lose your hearing. And I want you to reemphasize, no, it is not. Explain that to my audience.
Well, it's actually a function of all of the things you've experienced in your life. And so it's, in one aspect, yes, it is aging, but it really is an effect of how, what you've been exposed to over your life. So, and also a function of your genetics. There are a lot of people who are exposed to the exact same noises or the exact same disease. And one person will have a lot of hearing loss and one person will have very little hearing loss. So it's not as simple, you're getting old, you're losing your hearing. It's usually quite a bit more complicated. It may be that your diabetes is not very well controlled, or you've had some recent heart issues. Anything that affects your blood supply affects the inner ear and can change and alter your hearing.
Now, one of the things, too, that you've talked about in previous programs, Dr. Pickup, is the fact that the medication for some of those problems that you discussed, whether it's a heart problem, kidney problem, or diabetes, some of the medications might induce a hearing loss. Explain that, if you would.
You're breaking up really bad, Zeb. I got about every other word there.
Oh, I hope you can hear me now. I was saying that some of the medications that people are taking in regards to some of their health problems, that might be causing a hearing loss problem also, won't it?
Absolutely. unfortunately, I don't know if you've ever heard at the end of the commercial for the little blue pill, it says that you could have a sudden decrease in vision or hearing.
Okay.
And there are many medications out there, some very strong antibiotics, loop diuretics, warfarin. A lot of people are on blood thinners. All of those things can affect your hearing.
Now, if they notice that they're having a hearing problem and it's the television's not loud enough, or maybe they can't hear their spouse or whatever, you have at Mount Harrison Audiology a hearing screening, and people don't need to be afraid of it. Like I've said many times on my program, it's almost fun to take that hearing screening. Explain how it works.
It's very simple. Well, the screening is incredibly simple. You listen to a few tones, and you indicate whether or not you hear it. It's no pain. I think some people get worried that that there's something wrong, and they are not sure. They want to know if it's wrong or not. But it's really a very simple process. If we do a full evaluation, we get into even more fun because I actually use words and specially recorded tests that help us see what sounds specifically are difficult for you to understand. It gives me a very detailed, I do very extensive testing so that we can get a good picture of how your hearing has been affected, if there's a medical issue causing the hearing loss, and then we can make some good recommendations based on what we find.
Your background is amazing to me because you have literally been around sound and hearing for a long, long time, all through your collegiate and university studies and now into your business with Mount Harrison Audiology. You really have learned a lot about sound and how people can correct their hearing, haven't you?
I have. I've been very fortunate. I was able to attend Brigham Young University for my bachelor's and master's degree, and then I obtained my doctorate through A.T. Still University, which is a university based out in Kirksville, Missouri. They started as an osteopathic medical physician's college, and then they've expanded to all they do are medical degrees. And so the thing that I really liked about that college is they look at the whole person. It's not just your hearing, but it's how is your hearing affecting this, or how is this health condition affecting your hearing? And I try to very much take a whole person approach to what I do.
Okay, now, I want you to please elaborate. I've got about a minute left on exactly where your office for Mount Harrison Audiology and Hearing Aids is and how easy it is to make an appointment to come by for that hearing screening.
Sure. We are blessed to be here in Rupert, Idaho. We're just north of the hospital. So if you can find Minidoka Memorial Hospital, you can find our office. We are in the Medical Plaza just north of the hospital. If you see the ER entrance and look straight north, there's a second office on the left right next to Minidoka Chiropractic.
And the telephone number?
The number is 312-0957. We have a webpage, MountHarrisonAudiology.com, where you can go and read more about hearing loss, about myself, about how we take care of people here. We also have a Facebook page. You can find us anywhere on the internet.
Absolutely. And a very, very nice, knowledgeable lady. Dr. Christine Pickup at Mount Harrison Audiology and Hearing Aids. The number to call, 312-0957. Doctor, thank you so much for taking the time to be on our program. God bless you, and we'll be in touch in the near future. Thank you.
Sounds great, Deb. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much. Something you want to remember right there, Mount Harrison Audiology with that hearing screening, 312-0957. Right now, let's send it back over to our main studios. We'll be back with Johnny Yu in the next half hour.
And now, back to Zeb at the Ranch on AM 1230 KBAR. To reach Zeb, call 436-2244 or toll free 1-866-927-4587. And now, here is Zeb Bell.
Thank you very much, and welcome back to our last half hour on the program for today. And it's an honor and a privilege to have an old friend be my guest for this half hour. And we've known each other for, good heavens, probably pretty close to 40 years. Great singer, songwriter, entertainer, and also does a great job with a new venture, and he's going to tell us all about it. Johnny Yu, good morning, buddy. How are you?
Hello, Zeb. I'm doing good. Folks may come in here and they say, aren't you the cowboy that was singing with that Zeb Bell guy? I go,
Yeah, that's me.
Yeah, right.
It's kind of fun to remember the old TV show, so I'm doing great, buddy. Thanks for calling.
Well, it's really good to have you on the program, and as we kind of relive some of those memories from days gone by with our television show Cowboy Country, what's Johnny U been doing with himself since that program terminated? What are you doing?
Well, I've been working really hard on this veterans program. I've been doing that with Idaho Horse Therapy, developed a program for veterans with PTSD to work with integrating with other modalities that have been very effective. 3 years ago, Zeb, I was invited back to New Hampshire to bring the program for a pilot program for veterans with PTSD and different brain trauma. Anyway, it was very successful. We had horse therapy, equine-assisted psychotherapy, integrated with EMDR, which is eye movement desensitization and reprocessing, meditation, and Tai Chi. And now we have integrated brainwave optimization. That's a mouthful, I know.
Wow.
But anyway, it was very successful. The program's going on in the East Coast. We brought it back here to Idaho. We've had 2 already, and now we want to put on a bunch of them because it's very, very, very successful, very helpful to veterans to actually come for 6 days, and when they leave, they have help that they can survive and change their lives. And so I'm just excited to be part of it. We never charge a veteran, ever, never, never. And so we had to figure out how to raise the money to do it. The government's still trying to figure out how to do that, and they're not on board yet. So we rely upon private individuals and corporations and companies. So that's what I'm doing. We have the Idaho Veterans Thrift Store, which opened last week. Very successful, and I haven't seen the paper, but I guess we got a spot in the Times News to explain what we're doing.
Mm-hmm.
That was great timing for you to call.
Johnny, I really appreciate the fact that you were able to get all those words out regarding these programs in technology terms that I didn't quite understand. So let me put it in layman's terminology and tell me if I'm wrong and elaborate on it a little bit. With the Idaho Horse Therapy for the veterans, you're basically taking perhaps the veterans that have the PTSD and they're having some problems, and you're using horses to bring them back into a more well-rounded lifestyle. Is that fairly correct?
Yeah, that's exactly correct. Zeb, you and I know we can have a pretty bad day and get back out with our horses, and for some reason things change. Well, now they know the science about that. They know that the horse has the ability to actually change chemical reactions causing certain hormone release in it that calms us down, releases the serotonin and the dopamine and the good stuff that we try to self-medicate to get. Well, now we can do it with a horse. But what's really awesome about it is that part of the therapy complements the EMDR and the brainwave optimization that these guys go into. It actually lets them look at their issues that are causing it. So the horses, after they go through part of this, they come back out and reprocess with the horse, and it's just very, very effective. And I'll mind you, it wasn't my idea. Somebody much smarter than me had figured out these models. I just got to be a part of it. So there you go.
All right, Johnny, we've got a caller with a question, and if you can't hear the caller, I'll paraphrase it and give it back to you. Go ahead, caller, quickly. You're on the air.
Hey, Zeb, Scotty Cameron, how are you?
Good, Scotty.
Hey, the reason I'm calling in is I wanted to brag on Johnny's program. My youngest son has autism, and we participated in some of the equine therapy with Johnny, and I've got to tell you, it is awesome what comes out of these therapy sessions. I know you're talking about with the vets, but when my son got around the horses and everything, he had some confidence issues and things like that, and after going through these horse therapy sessions, man, he just really started to break out of his shell. And to be honest with you, it was the start of a lot of progress that we've made, especially with the autism that he has, and moving on. And one of his favorite things in the world is to play video games. And after the first therapy session with Johnny and their crew over there, he broke right out of that. He says, man, I like to play Xbox. He says, but if I could do this every day, I sure would do it. And it's just amazing what these equine therapy sessions do for people.
Well, Scotty, I really appreciate and respect your call this morning, and I'm going to have Johnny comment on that over the air. But again, thank you to you and your family for the time you took to call in.
Yeah, no problem. You guys have a great day.
All right, Johnny, you heard what Scotty said, and you and your program really helped his son.
Thanks, Scotty. It's interesting. He mentioned that. That's actually how equine-assisted psychotherapy got started 20 years ago. There were kids with autism who were participating in hippotherapy, therapeutic riding. And what happened is they realized that they start having social skills, which that's a real challenge for kids with autism and different, on the spectrum. And they realized that the horses were triggering that part of the brain. And so that was the very start of it in the 1990s. And now we have a regular equine-assisted psychotherapy, a regular model. And so, I appreciate Scotty calling in. And we do have that program in Twin Falls as well as the Idaho Reboot Camp for veterans. But horses just have that ability to do that. And now we know how to harness it and put it into a model, so it's awesome.
Oh, let's talk a little bit, Johnny, about the thrift store. Why was there a need to open up a thrift store to help fund these veterans projects? Explain that a little bit.
Well, sadly to say, I've worked with the VA in Boise for like 6 years. I've taken on our own, we'd never charge them to go out and do programs. The people there would like to do something, but their hands are tied. Their protocol doesn't pay for this type of therapy. Even though each one individually is an evidence-based type of therapy, it's hard for the VA as a whole to accept that program. So, needless to say, they have no funding for it. Once in a while they'll have grants, but it seems to be that grants are earmarked for different places. I'm not sure how all that works. That's another story. But the fact is there are no government funds that will help these guys, outside of their protocol. The protocol is to come in, and in most cases, I guess I'm just going to say it, their protocol is mostly treatment by medication. And we all know that probably saved a lot of lives, but it's not long term. And we know that if we can get them into a place where they can learn skills, and when they leave, they can find some way to self-regulate without hurting themselves or hurting others. Then we've reached that goal. And so that's why the funds just aren't there. We have to raise it from the private sector. And so the thrift store, we thought, why not? And last weekend was our opening weekend. It was just awesome. People came in. We did really well. If we could do that every weekend, we could put on several of these a year. And that's our goal, is that we have the Idaho Veterans Thrift Store and auction. We have an auction service now that will come and do farm sales and estate sales, and those funds will go toward this program.
Now, Johnny, it's easy to find this Idaho Veterans Store, so why don't you, being a resident of that area, give us a real good roadmap on how to get to the Veterans Store?
Yeah, thanks, Chip. It's 4 miles north of Show, right kitty-cornered across from good old Johnny's Country Store where I was raised. So if you head out north towards Sun Valley, 4 miles, you'll see it on the right. There's an old flag-painted truck we have out front, flags all over, and there's a big building there, and you can't miss it. And we're on the right. And we're open 4 days a week, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and by any other day by appointment. So
okay. Now, Johnny, what about the items in the store? Are you looking for more items to be donated for a resale basis? Explain that a little bit, if you would.
Yeah, absolutely. The items in the store are basically building materials. We have cabinets, we have furniture, and we have a tack corner. Had to have a tack corner. Saddles and tack. Mostly it is, there'll be sinks and plumbing things, furniture parts, but mostly building materials. So anything like that people have, they think that they want to get rid of or want to donate,
we are a 501c3 nonprofit, so we can give them a contribution slip, that they can write off on their taxes. So anything they do for the store is tax deductible.
I want to talk a little bit more in the time remaining about the working with the horses and the changes in people's personalities. I want you to go into that a little bit more in depth as to what you do, not only with the veterans, but also with the horses. How do you bring them both together?
Well, we have 3 programs. We have the juvenile justice system that we do for kids on probation in the 5th District, which includes Cache County as well, Twin Falls, Jerome, Gooding, Lincoln, and Blaine. And then we have a program. We do the contract for the Teens at Risk program of the Blue Fire Wilderness program out north, and then we do the Veterans program. But they all the horses work with the same brain, right? And what we do is our modality is taken from an organization called EGALA, Equine Assisted Growth and Learning Association. It's a worldwide organization, been around for 25 years. It's a non-mounting. We don't ride our horses. And you think, well, how in the world does that work? Well, being raised on the horses and trained horses for as long as I can remember, I wondered how it would work too, but I will tell you, when you take a horse in the arena and allow them to do everything that's natural, you'll be amazed at what they'll teach us. And the good thing about it, they're objective. It's often been called that we let people deal with the 1,200-pound lie detector. People find out things in themselves that a counselor couldn't tell them, that they get to see it, feel it, and it's so much more effective than talk therapy alone. So it's hard to explain, in a few words, Seth, but maybe sometime we can have you come and visit and watch and see how it happens. But the horses react, and this part of it. You go out someday in a hurry. Well, let's say most of the times you go out in the trail and you catch a horse any old time. You go out when you're in a hurry and you can't catch the dang horse you could always catch. And that's because they have the amazing ability to read us. And it's because, the science guys tell us, because of the limbic system in the horse. They have a type of telepathic knowing that they see us, they feel us, and they'll react accordingly. The cool thing about it is that they act objectively, and when a person leaves there, there's nobody, they can't already say that horse just doesn't like me.
Yeah.
There's something with me, it's not the horse. And it's always that case, They say horses have people problems, not the other way around. So
now, let me ask you this question then, Johnny. I am sure of all the people that you've worked with, you've had different and varying signs of success. Give us the most heartwarming story that you can recall working with the veterans or whomever regarding this Idaho horse therapy.
Oh my gosh. I've had kids come in that were so high-strung and just so broken, come into the arena, and often I will always let the kids at first let a horse pick them, and all kinds of strange things happen. I can remember one time that a kid, and he was on the autism spectrum at that time. They called Asperger's. I think they've removed that, that title, but he came in and started working with the horse, and they just wore each other out, and this horse just laid down. He'd had enough, and the kid laid down. And it was just, you sat there and looked at it, it was like, I thought I was seeing a radio act, And the kid came out, he was changed. You can just see his hyperactivity all of a sudden just changed. Another good one was, here's what I see a lot. When I come with the kids that are very highly disturbed, they often come to horse therapy the first time angry because they think they have to be there. And I've never seen it, ever, in 6 or 8 years I've been involved with this, that I can't turn them with a horse. I don't make them, do the exercises. I say, here's the horse. You don't have to do the exercises. Here's a brush if you want to use it. All you have to do is just be with the horse. That's all you got to do. I have never, ever had a kid not change their attitude within sometimes 10 minutes, sometimes 45 minutes. By being in the vicinity of that horse, before it's over, they've got both hands on that horse's head down. The kids all of a sudden yield it. Because what happens is, you've heard the Will Rogers thing, actually it was Winston Churchill that said it first, there's something about the outside of a horse that's good for the inside of a man. And I watch it all the time, that when these kids are high anxiety, high fear, angry, if you'll put them with a horse in his right situation other than a flight mode, you'll see him change, and they can't help it because it's chemical. And, kids are doing things because it is inside out. And I think even as a parent, I look and see how many times I felt like, we had to do something on the outside. Well, it's not. Kids are doing things, acting out, taking drugs, killing each other, killing themselves because something inside. And they actually know that most of this has happened with some type of belief system within their first 7 to 9 years. And the horse has a way of getting a hold of that and bringing it to the surface. I go on and on. I can tell you about vets that come in and put them in the same situation and actually just break down in tears and start telling the story of what's going on with them, and they just start healing. I often will leave the arena pretty choked up myself, and I think, holy smokes, this is my job, and it's the most awesome job I've ever had.
Well, now let me ask you, Johnny, and let's get back to the thrift store real quick. I've only got about 2 minutes left in this segment. But now the thrift store is open and running for business right now. It's north of Shoshone, 4 miles. It's called the Idaho Veterans Store at 418 Idaho Highway 75. What about the hours? Again, tell us the days and the hours that it's open.
Yeah, we're open Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. 9:30 to 5:30. Sunday we try to quit a little earlier, but last Sunday there were people here until 6 o'clock. So, and if somebody can't make it, then they can call me. My number is 280-0576, or call the store manager, Daryl Glanders. Daryl's number is 731-4042. That's 731-4042. If they want to bring something over or make a special appointment, they can call Daryl. Can't get a hold of him, they should always call me. Okay.
And again, I want to stress, Johnny, the funds from the thrift store are going back to help our veterans with this horse therapy. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. It's called Idaho Reboot Camp. If anybody has a computer or is computer savvy, that's all they have to do is look under Idaho Reboot Camp.com. It will show the whole plan of action, what we do, the modalities, and explain everything that I haven't talked about here.
All right. I want to tell you, one of my best friends ever, Johnny Yu, and his lovely wife Carla, and all their music and all they do for all the people here in Magic Valley. Johnny, thank you very much for being on the program, and continued success with that Idaho Veterans Thrift Store.
Thank you, Zep. Come and see us.
I will. Thank you, buddy. Take care of yourself.
Yeah, you too.
All right. Johnny Yu, my partner from the old television show Cowboy Country, and a good friend, and he's doing a really, really neat deal with the Idaho Horse Therapy and the kids and the veterans, and now opening up that Idaho Veterans Store right there on Highway 75, headed north, 4 miles north of Shoshone. Congratulations, and I hope it really, really works well. Right now it's time for the weather. I've got to get the weather in here real quick by Scarro's Meats at 331 North Road, Jerome. The number to call, 324-7657. Scarro's Meats, changing the way we eat, one delicious bite at a time. You know what? With the tax money you may be getting back, tax return meat bundle. What? You betcha, 70-plus pounds of beef and pork and chicken for only $249 plus tax. Oh my goodness, it is good. Your hometown meat cutter, Scarro's Meats in Jerome. Right now, here's Gina with the weather.
We are are getting one more day closer to the weekend. We still have Friday left to go, but first we got to get through today. Looks like cloudy skies. It is going to be on the windy side, out of the southeast, right around 18 miles an hour. Warming up to about 66 for today. Tonight you can expect a low of 40. Those clouds are going to be sticking around for tomorrow as well. Winds dying down. That's going to be nice. High of 66 for Friday. Overnight low of 41. Partly cloudy and 60 for Saturday. And for Sunday and Monday, we are expecting rain showers, plus the wind's going to be picking up as well. Highs are going to be in the upper 40s to low 50s. Yesterday's high was 51. The overnight low was 34. That is your weather for Zeb at the Range.
I appreciate it. Gina, thank you very much. And the weather brought to you this hour by Scarrows Meats. 331 North Road, Jerome. The number to call, 324-7657. They are changing the way we eat, one delicious bite at a time. Oh, my. Let's see what else we got cooking here real quick. Next Monday on the program, we are scheduled to have our last Idaho legislative update at 10:06 in the morning next Monday. And that's going to be with Representative Fred Wood. And, of course, we're going to have the Alliance Defending Freedom and the Senior Center with Catherine's going to be on there, plus other guests. But I want to mention to you Saturday night this weekend. Don't forget, when you go to bed, set your clocks ahead an hour. Daylight saving time. I'm not saying I like it, but I'm saying you better set your clocks ahead or you're never going to make it to church on time on Sunday. Set your clocks ahead on Saturday night when you go to bed. Daylight saving time starts this weekend. Don't forget that. Real quick, I want to mention our major sponsor for this program, and that's, of course, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. Oh, my, they've got a lot of their great tires on sale right now. You better check out the Eclipse tire for your car, all-season traction, advanced design tread. Oh, my, at prices you can't afford to pass up. Get in there today. Convenient credit for cars and services right there at your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. And they've got a lot of the dress-up custom wheels for your vehicle, and you know they've got the best in brake service with the best brake value promise in the industry. Front end alignment, shocks and struts, and batteries. Oh my, they've got a battery for every need. You stop in and see today any one of the 7, Lane and Rupert, Dave on Blue Lakes and Twin, Mike and Buell, Mike and Jerome, the Twist family in Paul, John on Poline in Twin Falls, and Randy on Overland in Burley. Absolutely the best. Your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. Okay, we're going to wrap it up and put it back in the box for this week. Zeb at the Ranch, and I want to say thanks to Wheels for an outstanding good job over at our main studios. And I want to remind everybody that our blog, Cow Pies and Coffee Cups, is growing in popularity all over the United States. If you'd like to receive that Cow Pies and Coffee Cups, just click on to zebbell.com. It'll tell you how to leave your address, and we'll make sure that we get it sent to you. And all kinds of great things going on for this next week. And as I stated, we are trying to work with Act for America and get my dear friend Brigitte Gabriel back on the air this next Wednesday. So until next Monday at 8:06, when we'll ride the horse again for 3 hours and start a brand new week, this is Zeb Bell bidding you and your family a very good, safe weekend. God bless all of you folks. And remember, the way things were are the way things ought to be. We'll see you Monday right here on K-Bar 1230.